Hello, this is the Public Art Advisory Committee, Monday, April 17th at 4:30 PM. This is a hybrid meeting. People may join here in person at 50 Park Place, Brisbane, in a large conference room, or join via Zoom. Okay, as we don't have a chair at the moment, I will go ahead and move forward with roll call vote. Mayor Davis.
Here.
Councilmember Cunningham.
I'm here.
Vice Chair Salmon.
Here.
Park and Rec Commissioner Greenlee.
Here.
Park and Rec Commissioner Sewell.
Here.
Diane Glassman is absent and Danielle Kunstad. Welcome. Okay, is there an approval for the agenda? I think we actually wanted to do a short addendum to the agenda. We can make it towards item F. And item F, it would be to consider a new date for our next meeting, preferably a little bit sooner. It could be a Monday or a Tuesday evening, something like that, as a discussion item. See if there is a potential date that we can move our future May 15th date to a sooner date.
And this is.
Sorry, so it's just be an addendum to the agenda that we can maybe discuss, that we could potentially have our next Public Art Committee meeting a little sooner than May 15th.
Oh, I see. Why? We want to talk to
Yes,
phase 3? Yes.
is that allowed? Is everyone okay with that?
Are we
change?
legally allowed to do this, Madison?
Yeah, okay,
To suggest an alternative meeting day?
sure, have it as a
Okay.
discussion. Okay, all in favor, Mayor Davis?
Aye.
Councilmember Cunningham.
Aye.
Vice Chair Salmon.
Aye.
Park and Rec Commissioner Greenlee.
Aye.
Park and Rec Commissioner Sewell.
Aye.
And Danielle Kunstad.
Aye.
Great.
So for the record, what we just did was amend the agenda. So that
Yes.
next meeting is
For
not Monday, May
discussion.
15th. It's up for discussion.
Yes.
The sooner date. Okay.
All right. So the approval of the minutes for March 20th, 2023.
I move that we approve the minutes for March 2023.
I second.
Roll call. Mayor Davis. Councilmember Cunningham.
Aye.
Vice Chair Salmon.
Aye.
Park and Rec Commissioner Greenlee.
Aye.
Park Recreation Commissioner Sewell.
Aye.
And Danielle Kunstad, you will be abstaining. Because you were not here at the meeting.
Unless you have read it thoroughly and completely understand it and find no fault, then you can
And
vote.
watch the video to compare accordingly. Which is like. Okay,
All right.
moving forward.
Well, and I will, as the vice chair,
Great.
want to make sure that we acknowledge Danette. Are you on? I hope. Danette Davis
No.
and Beth Grossman for their service in the Public Arts Advisory Committee. I want to thank, for me, I think I speak on behalf of the entire committee, what a privilege it's been to work with you. I want to start with Danette. Danette, you've given your time for 4 years in looking at this. You've done extensive and deep preparation before each meeting. I felt you came to your meeting with clear understanding of what you felt your role was, on the way that you studied your role and how you could contribute. And I want to thank you and uptake for that extra effort, because I know that it's not always easy, and it was a delight to work with you. Thank you. And for Beth, I want to thank Beth so much for giving us for 2 years, your insight in ways of looking at things differently and making sure that not only to say how to look at them differently, but to also provide resources and background information, that your research on that and your heart to look into that and give that. I really appreciate the work you did for that. It was a delight. And I want to thank you. And I think if anybody else wants to add anything, but I know I speak on behalf of everybody.
Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you.
Jeanette. Thank you, thank
Thank
you. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome to, yeah, okay.
Do
Do you want to give one?
Print out.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
This is,
Oh, I didn't know that we were gonna do this.
I can read it or we can just give you a copy.
Shall we?
Either way.
Read it.
Okay,
they're
we'll read it.
the same, they're the
For the
same,
record.
so
Okay, yeah, I should read it.
I'm happy to. The city of Brisbane formally acknowledges Danette Davis and Beth Grossman for their service on the Public Art Advisory Committee. Over the course of their terms, they acted in an advisory capacity to city council on matters pertaining to the city's art and public places program, increased citizens' appreciation of art, improved quality of life, and enhanced Brisbane's identity as a unique community within the Greater Bay Area. It supported the notion that public art has the power to energize our public spaces, arouse our thinking, and transform the places where we live, work, and play into more welcoming and beautiful environments that invite interaction. Recommended to the city council the amount of money from the public art fund to be used on any publicly installed public art pieces, and recommended locations for projects, types of artwork when appropriate, process for involving the community, and methods for soliciting artists. Reviewed the balance of funds in the public art fund to determine if the committee should propose projects to be initiated and commissioned by the city, and gathered community opinions and perceptions regarding public art in Brisbane. After many years of service to the Brisbane community and advocacy in the field of public art, we thank you both for your time and dedication. Thank you so much.
I just want to say that I continue to be a resource for all of you.
Yes.
Have questions or you need some recommendations and I'm happy to be of service continually.
Your wealth of resources. Wealth of
Thank you, Beth.
resources.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Jeanette.
Well, thank you all.
Thank
Thank you. Bye.
You're on
I
mute.
can't hear you.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
It was a pleasure and an honor to serve the city of Brisbane in the capacity on the art committee. So it was such a pleasure to work with all of you, get to know you and work to make Brisbane a better place. And I'm just looking forward to seeing the great things you will do and the new committee members. And best wishes, and maybe someday I'll come back and join you.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you all.
Bye.
My understanding is we're going to move the appointment of chair and vice chair to the next.
No, okay, legally, go ahead.
We have to do this now, even,
That's fine.
okay. Then we're going to discuss who is going to be the chair and the vice chair.
Well, I would make a motion right off the bat to appoint Lisa as the next chair.
Second.
Odd.
Shall we vote?
Yes.
She has to accept it.
Busy person.
Wow, yeah, I'm on so many committees.
Maybe staff could go over what like the time expectations or what specifically the role of the chair is within this committee to know what time commitment one would expect.
You want-
Well, it's new to me too,
Okay, well,
but
it's very light. I mean, it's mostly driving the meeting. And Noreen and or I will reach out to you prior to the agenda going out. Usually it's Noreen will talk about like, this is what we have coming up on the agenda, is what we're thinking about. Do you have anything in particular that you would like us to focus on more or talk about or discuss? And I think that's about it.
yeah, so similar to Park and Rec. Correct. Okay.
Yep. And then I think that if like any of us wanted something on the agenda,
Yeah.
then we would just email you and say, what do you
Okay.
think about putting this on?
One problem.
I have
is-
one question. When you
Okay.
say someone wants to put it on an agenda, don't you email to the city for them to email?
Could be there.
I
It
just
could
want
be
to,
either.
She has
As long
the
as it's not
authority.
the whole group.
as long as it's, okay.
She
correct.
has the authority.
All
She
right.
said the chair sets the agenda.
Oh, well. The only problem is that I do travel for work
Mhm.
and
Mm.
yeah. I might not, because I've missed quite a few meetings out of this committee because of work commitments. And so,
Well, and now we're in person.
huh?
Now we're in person.
Even harder.
I'm sorry.
Now we're in person.
Now we're in person. Yes, yes. And it's been
kind of difficult. The vice chair would have to be able to step in, which is what's happened before, but I know the new rules are you have to be here in order to participate. Like I couldn't lead a meeting.
Right.
I would do vice.
Camille offered to vice. You would be
chair.
vice
I would
chair?
do vice chair.
And vice chair, you would,
Take over. when
if
you're
I was
ready.
traveling?
Yes.
Okay. If she's got my back, then I can do it.
That I
Okay,
can
so
do.
I would make a motion to appoint
Can we do it that?
Lisa as chair and Camille as vice chair. Or just one.
And you're not on your own. I mean,
I know, but I've had this responsibility before. How long is the term?
A year.
1 year. Oh, okay, a year. That's bad.
10 years.
Not until your third grandchild.
Do I have a second?
I'll second. Oh, no, I can't.
Yeah, you can.
Yay.
Okay, let's do a roll call
We're voting
vote.
for myself.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
yeah, you-
Yeah, you can go for yourself.
okay. Roll call vote. Mayor Davis,
Easy on
Aye.
me, please.
Councilmember Cunningham, Vice Chair Salmon,
Aye.
Park and Recreation Commissioner Greenlee,
Aye.
Park and Recreation Commissioner Sewell,
Aye.
and Danielle Kelso.
Aye.
All right.
Thank you both. You know,
We both support you.
Thank you. I will try and be more on top of it. I know I'm been scattered lately with so many meetings. But I will try and be more on top of it. And if you could help,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
gotcha.
We all realize that things are, the backup of things that have happened because of COVID.
Mhm.
You know, so when people say you haven't done this and you haven't done that, I want to say, not only did we have COVID, we then had landslides.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's got more than
Yes.
enough on their plate already.
Yes. And but I
Children
do,
were born.
but I do know it's an awesome responsibility because I've done it before and I personally don't think I'm very good at it, but I will do my best. No, I mean, just being.
I disagree.
Okay, thank you for your support. That's what I'll need.
We gotcha.
All right, great. So now we're going to go ahead and begin to review the request for the proposal for the City of Brisbane's Public Art Master Plan, which was a part of the packet that had been sent to everybody in there. And I don't know how you want to do it, if you want to go through it page by page, or if there were questions that people might have written down.
Yeah,
before. How would you like to do this?
Okay.
We can go through page by page. We tried to incorporate the feedback that we received from the
Yeah.
committee at the last meeting and incorporating key elements from other RFPs
I got it.
that the committee liked. So we incorporated that as well as kind of the standard legalese that's required from our city attorneys.
It
So,
seems so long.
yeah, yeah,
Is that normally?
Really?
how-
So many elements to it.
I
I'm
mean,
not saying it shouldn't be. I'm just saying it seems.
I think it's fairly consistent
Okay.
with documents
Yeah.
of this caliber,
Oh,
right? I mean, that when we're talking
Yeah, yeah.
about a master plan, I think it's important to be concise, but also explicit about what the expectations are
Okay.
in hiring a consultant.
This whole page is a nothing page.
Correct,
These 2 pages are a nothing page.
right.
This is just like where
It's
to
required.
send it, where to
Yeah,
email it
that's
to,
right.
whatever. And I think that it takes up space because there's photos, which I think is really, actually
I like
really
that.
good.
Oh, no, I thought the
And-
presentation was wonderful.
Also, there's a lot of bulleted lists,
Mhm.
so that it takes up a considerable amount of space, but I think that I feel that it really encapsulates what the direction that we gave at the last meeting.
And okay, we can go through it. I have some questions or just clarification, sure, but everybody wants to go through it. Is that how we want to proceed on?
I would like to hear questions.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all read it.
Yeah. All right, so on page 13.
What's the,
It's number 4 on page 13.
Enclosure B, public arts implementation guidelines.
Let me see.
Artist
Artist participation, but artists, architect, engineers. When I just need clarification on what that means. Are you asking? Because it's a master plan. So,
This is not essentially part of the master planning. This
This
is
is-
part of the existing guidelines.
okay.
These are the
Thank you.
existing implementation guidelines.
That's where I was
It's
confused. I was
to
like,
serve
why
as
is
a
it all-
reference document to potential
Knowledge
prospective consultants.
Thank you. That's
Yeah.
why I was wondering
It's
about.
So really, we're
attachment.
looking at the very first two
Just
pages.
until page
Pages.
9.
Page
Three
nine,
through nine,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
Then
nine
that's-
pages
all right.
long,
The contract
technically.
and stuff.
Yeah,
All right,
3 through
perfect.
8 even.
yeah,
Then I have
Nine
no
is
questions.
just, yeah.
yeah. So it's really only an 8-page
Yeah,
document.
right.
really.
Something
So we
like
have
mid
two
the transfer, all of a
attachments.
sudden, that's why
You're like, why is this so long?
Yeah.
I get.
I'm
So I
sorry,
gotta get
I
contracts and
missed
it's-
that one was the guideline. or
Yeah.
I read it online. I apologize, but
So does staff need direction? I see there's like the highlighted parts. You're gonna fill that in based on like,
Our
you're gonna
discussion.
use your judgment to fill that in, or
Right.
you are looking for guidance on those?
I think we left them blank for now until we had more input from the committee, but once we feel comfortable moving forward with this,
Yeah.
then we
Maybe
can
the
lay
goals.
out the timeline for the RFP process and bring that back to the committee, make sure it feels comfortable to everyone, kind of just based on general best practice.
Yeah. I would leave it up to your discretion to determine like that type of timeline based on what you have encountered in best practice. But
Sure.
I think like, if we wrapped up today versus if we wrapped up next meeting, then
Mhm.
at that point, then you could
Build it out.
build it out
Yeah.
on your own.
Mhm.
I have a question. When, on page 2, top of page 2, we're seeking proposals from, and the individuals are all listed there. Is that consistent with every other? Yes,
That language.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the question I'm asking is, we interviewed all these other cities who had already done this, and is this language consistent with what other cities ask, how they put it together?
Yes.
Okay, that was my only question.
And it's
But
consistent.
based on a comment from somebody in the public.
Oh, yes.
So thank you.
A lot of these are consistent, like a lot of these, that's why we have definitions, we have all those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Because there's like a standard format that we follow that is included.
I just needed to ask that clarifying question.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
good. Which is why you have preferred, accepted, like you have all the directions, where to send it and all that stuff.
Mhm.
right. Thank you.
Thank you. That was my only question.
All right, I did all right.
Yeah, you did good.
Great.
There's a lot to bring
Thank
together.
you, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
because we have-
What you guys do behind the curtain.
Yeah, we had so many cities that we looked
Yeah.
at and we brought together. So
Well, and they
thank
were
you.
so generous with their information to us. And,
Yeah.
South City just was totally amazing.
Oh,
Mhm.
really.
Very good too.
You guys did a lot of good background work
Yeah.
too. It took us a while to get.
Yeah,
here,
we
like
had to
reviewing
go
all
through
the
a
other
bunch of
art,
stuff,
yeah,
yeah.
not
Well,
RFPs, but.
And I think a lot of people need to understand that
That's
things
okay.
don't just happen in a vacuum, that there is a process. And sometimes the process is a little painful, but there's a process that we have to follow.
Do we want to discuss the timeline?
That's
If
up to
we
you.
need to, I mean,
Or I can come back to our next meeting with a
With the-
recommendation
Of
of,
timeline. That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
well, does that just mean we're delaying this like a whole?
Well,
other
that's what I'm
month?
saying,
Like,
we're
I think
delaying
we
it a
should
month.
just give authority
Yeah,
for.
if
That's what I'm saying. Do we
like
want to
this-
discuss it?
Because for me to say like, I don't know how, long these steps are gonna
That's what I'm
take the
saying,
way
yeah.
that she
She
would.
would.
Mhm.
Like, I would just trust them to, based on, they can look back at the other RFPs and see how long, like,
Okay.
others had, how
I
many weeks
agree.
they gave for
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
I
I would say it would be,
I'm ready
different.
to-
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
I think we
Let's
need
go
to
for that low hanging fruit.
I would say it would be different, like, we should have input in the timeline of actually building the master plan, right? And the
Yes.
consultant comes
Yes.
to us and said, this is the timeline that we want to work with, and we would say, oh, 1 month for public outreach is not enough, right?
Right,
But
right.
this type of stuff is more technical, putting
I
it out
agree.
into the universe, so I would say that just.
Yeah, let's get on it.
You know me.
Yeah.
I think all of us are looking forward to doing something.
Yes.
Speaking of which, when can we, for our protocol position, put something forward? Do we put it to you to ask the new chair to put it on the new, on the next agenda?
Or
for-
projects.
for-
Hanging fruit.
Yeah, we can,
Oh.
yes, that can either come through me or the chair.
Okay.
And give us enough time though, so if there's any staff preparation that we would need to do. or
Examples
research
of
we need to
low hanging
do.
fruit that we
Yes.
might like.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, we know
Just
we've
start with examples, I
We've
think.
got a library of things that some people put stuff in. I don't know when now, quite a while ago,
Uh-huh.
but I mean. And all of our suggestions are all valid, so.
Yeah, yeah. And maybe, put it out to the public. Maybe some low hanging fruit ideas,
Well,
or how
I
how
think
does
it's
that
fine.
work?
I'd love to do one step at a time.
Yeah,
I would like for us to just, let's pay attention to this master plan
yes,
and put our energies and since we've okayed it, get that moving next meeting, approve it, get it out. And then we can begin to talk about other things, but at least get something checked on the checklist.
but we can start thinking.
Well,
can start
but
thinking.
other people can discuss it
Yeah.
and bring it up, but we're not supposed to be discussing it now, so I think we've all said our piece on that, so let's not talk about that anymore before I move off of.
I have
this.
something. I have something.
Yeah, oh,
on
good,
this.
yeah.
Okay,
One thing that I think is missing that we, I believe, discussed at the last meeting,
Mhm.
that I would think would be under development of cohesive plans is how curators would interact with the committee and at like what maybe budget threshold or what things would trigger needing to hire a curator. I think it's something that we should put into the public art master plan. And I don't know if I'm just like not, if I'm just missing it, but
I read that somewhere. No, it says curating and yes,
Yeah.
I saw it there.
I see like analysis and recommendations for collection strategy. Recommended for collection, maintenance, conservation, ownership and deeds.
Don't you wanna flip those?
I'm sorry.
Search.
Mhm.
Maybe like under item 7, where it says identify additional funding resources and staffing recommendations such as. You know. A curator,
Where do you
Or-
even see 7? What do you?
I wonder,
Page 6.
page 6, item 7.
Oh, I see what you're saying here. Thank you.
such as like the establishment of criteria for when. A curator is hired, or I think that should just be like a little bit
Clear or stated
more clear.
so
Cause I
that
feel
it's
like,
in the master plan so that we. cover it.
yeah,
Is that what
because
you're
I
saying?
think that it's not like, you wouldn't necessarily hire a curator if you have a $5,000 budget, right?
Right,
Right.
Like, or there are certain things that you, like, if you have a project that's a $250,000 budget. You absolutely, that seems to be something that might make sense. I could be wrong though, and that's something that I think we should flush out. How and when, what are the trigger points in which you hire a curator? Is it location based? Is it budget based? Is it
Mhm.
is it a combination of
Mhm.
multiple things? Would you, still need to hire a curator if you are talking directly with an artist and you want to do a temporary, you want to do art on loan? I think there are certain situations in which having a curator doesn't necessarily make sense for those specific projects. For example, a bench project or something that's maybe community focused project, like if we did a workshop on painting fences or painting mailboxes or fire hydrants, right? Those things are community-based projects, like the low-hanging fruit, and then the different sort of levels of art that we have. Not every project is going to require a curator, but I think that we need to, as a group, determine what projects, when and how we do
Well,
that.
then,
As part of the
Could
development.
would that be under, with 7 then, identify additional funding resources, potential need for curating?
I think in staffing
Criteria.
recommendations such as
And-
like criteria for when we would hire a
Yeah,
curator,
right.
something like
With
that.
that, yes.
Establish if or when a curator should be
Mhm.
hired.
Yeah.
You know,
Something along those lines, or it could be its own bullet point, but I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
think it needs to be in this RFP somewhere.
Okay,
All
that
right,
makes sense. That's a good addition.
thank you.
Okay, before we move on, I just want to make sure, does anyone, as attendees have any questions or comments that they would like before we move on from this topic, the RFP?
I have a question about, like the whole micro barn. I'm not on Facebook.
You can't. No. So let me check email, make sure I didn't get anything of discussion on the RFP.
Ask it.
No, I don't have anybody. Doesn't look like anybody has a raised hand. So, okay, so let us move on now to. Go ahead, take us vice chair there.
No public meeting. So now we're going to discuss F, which we've added to consider a new date for the next meeting.
Yeah.
And then I have something that I would like to have on the next meeting at some point on the agenda.
Okay, well, you can talk to us about.
Yeah.
To either
Yes,
her or
okay.
Marie.
So we want to consider a new date for the next meeting before or different than the one that's scheduled. Oh,
Mhm.
Lord.
If we can,
I
then.
know.
we can.
And then- Oh,
And it
I know.
doesn't have to be on a Monday. I'm sorry.
The 22nd. So we would like either the 15.
The next one is Monday, May 15th. It's always the
Oh.
third Monday of each month at 4:30 PM. We've had a request. It's unfortunately, it was a little bit too late of a request before our agenda had gone out for this meeting to add a topic. So, but it is a little bit on the time sensitive side. And I think I sent out a late today written public comment
Oh, yeah.
from that person. So if we could just look at our agenda, or I mean, our calendars right now, if there's a possibility.
So that would replace the 15th. We would not have the 15th as well, right? Yeah, okay.
Sounds like the RFP doesn't need
It's
much
actually good, 'cause I
massaging,
can't
so
even
that's
do
a
the
good thing.
15th. Yeah, anyway, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna,
Okay, well, I'll throw that. I could do the 1st or the 8th,
Me too.
and that's it.
let me see.
For Mondays.
Yes.
If it's a Monday,
We have Luna Fest
We have Luna Fest.
first.
It's
Yeah,
3 to
we have
4.
one.
that's 3 to 4.
Mhm. I mean, I guess we could do it at,
I could do the 8th.
Oh, 4:30, yeah, then we just
we're already here.
go in, yeah, that's
Alrighty.
fine.
I'm good with the 1st or the 8th, honestly. Either one.
Oh, should we decide now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we vote?
Can anyone
Does anybody
not do
not
either
need
of those
those?
days?
Oh, good.
I can do 1st or 8th.
Let's just do the
Let's
first
do the
because
first.
Lisa and I are gonna be here
Okay.
until 4, so we could just
Already,
stay.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
good.
May 1st at 4:30.
Actually, I think ours is Zoom, but whatever. You and I can come.
Yeah, we can come and do it with however, okay, yeah,
So we are.
we'll come in person, we'll be doing.
Okay,
We'll follow
May
up,
1st
yeah.
at 4:30 PM.
If that does not work, we
Then we
will
can-
do
May
May 8th as a backup. So staff will give discretion to staff to determine the date because we're meeting with somebody and they need to be available at that time.
All right, that's
And
done.
we're canceling the other one on the 15th,
And we would
Yeah,
cancel the May 15th.
right?
And if we can determine that ASAP, then I can get it to
Yeah.
Caroline Chung for the Star newsletter before it goes to print, so I can get that up and going. So that would be great to be updated.
Edit this out.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for your flexibility. We are now at public comment. I have received written public comment from Kevin Fryer on 4:15, which was sent out to everybody, and from John Evans of Phase 3 that came out for today.
I missed that one.
So that's fine. So currently, do we have any public comment from anybody from Zoom? We don't have anybody here in person. One moment. Yeah, John Evans, allowed to speak. Please go ahead and unmute yourself. Thank you.
Yes, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi, John.
All right. Hi, thank you for having me. I believe I had an addendum added to the agenda to introduce our project. I am the owner's representative for the Genesis Marina project in the Sierra Point area. And I've provided a little 8-page packet just to introduce what we're trying to do and what our project is. So like I said, my name is John Evans. I'm with Phase 3 Real Estate. And our project is the Genesis Marina project. It's 3 buildings that house life science. We have multiple different tenants. We'll be doing all different types of research and development for biotech, chemistry, biology related efforts. We've done a lot of real estate in the South San Francisco area, Brisbane. We also have the building 1000 Marina, which is right next to it. It's that black building, about 6 stories tall. And so what we're looking to do here is, as we come to the finish line of our project, we are starting some of our tenant improvements.
Don't discuss it.
Some of our tenant improvements, and we are looking to use our public art fee to enhance our campus. If you've driven by the towers over on San Bruno Mountains, just across the 101 there, you've seen maybe some of our artwork over there. We want to, we definitely want to do something that is beautifying for our campus. And just to walk you through that real quickly, I understand this isn't, really the full presentation. I think the objective for today is just, like I said, for me to introduce myself, introduce the project, and show you some of the concepts that that we're starting to dream up. The objective is to work with you guys and find something that works for you guys, but also is cohesive and makes sense for our campus. On that first page, they're on
So
the-
John,
Yep,
so
yep.
this was just an introduction because we were not able to have the time to agendize it. We can't, I've handed it out to everybody as a written public comment, which will be posted onto our website but we can't discuss the project until it's agendized, and we've set our meeting hopefully for May 1st for a full presentation.
Yep, I heard that, and thank you for your flexibility. And yeah, we can prepare a more full package.
Okay.
So on May 1st, would that be to, what I understand is we want to have a few concepts for us to work together on something. Obviously, there are some favorites from our perspective, but is the meeting on May 1st to review a full package with the artist and what we're proposing, or to
So John,
Go around a few different
staff will work with you on that and discuss that with you. Okay, so we'll get back to you probably tomorrow.
Okay.
About it, okay?
Yeah, well, thank you anyways, then feel free to peruse that, and
Great.
I look forward to talking more with you guys on the May 1st.
Great,
Great.
thank you.
Great,
so
thank
much,
you for
John.
calling.
Thank you, John, welcome aboard. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
So are we adjourning?
All right, so are we ready to adjourn?
No other public
No
comments?
other public comments? I didn't see anything in my email either. All right, so new chair, would you like to adjourn our meeting?
This meeting is here adjourned.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. While you're here, there's a things that I want to